That's what I came up with.
It's alright. Oops. Wow, why can I not type today? Whatever. This is good enough. Doop, doop, update, and we're good to go. As the team moves forwards into the events that now play themselves out, about 2.5 days are left for the, well, remaining time you have before the storm approaches, or gets here. Over the course of time, you did figure out a few things here and there, and a few, perhaps, uh, ways of counteracting a few of the things that are to happen. Some of you have learned where you might be able to learn some potion brewing. Others have gone and figured out how to maybe jump in without the need for such things. But over the course of time, you have determined that you might be able to do everything if you're quick about it. If not, then, well, things might prove a little bit more difficult. In this endeavor, you have decided to. Well, I'll let you decide what to do. You do have some time, definitely before the actual teachings happen, and definitely before the storm actually gets here. So, what does your team do?
Well, I could first, as I mentioned before.
Gaethon? I mean, Gaethon, I mean, Kelmore or Devis?
Yes.
He just like cut out all of a sudden. We're talking, and maybe it was just me.
Okay, glad it wasn't just me.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
We were talking, you just dropped all of a sudden. I don't know if you moved your mic, brother.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Barely. Hold on, let me turn you up. I can hear it. Think. Alright, you're all the way up.
I go to the library.
Yeah, we still need to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, Tolman's just kind of following along at this point because he's just waiting basically to react to the storms and seeing what everybody else can find out.
Fair enough. Alright. I guess that brings you, and I forgot to drag you guys there. One of those nights. Deleting who's already there first, and then clicking everyone here. Well, some of you did get to come here beforehand. Not everyone did. Meeting Shade, Vera, and Connie beforehand, you were shown or at least told how to do a few things. In the meantime, Kaithal was going to learn from Connie. I'm just going to say for this situation that he does. Like, he goes off and trains with her for a while. But you guys arrive here without too much of an issue.
So what do I see?
Do you have like any true sights, devil sights?
No. Just
You see two short-ish women. Vera themselves are like 5'4", short but not extremely short. Connie themselves are roughly around 3 feet tall. If it wasn't for their stature, they would definitely look very young. They do, in fact, still look quite young. Maybe in their late teens, early 20s. But based off of the information that you have, Shade has been traveling them for a while. They could be halflings, but the ears and the more mammalian, I think it's the proper term for it, parts of them don't look like halflings. And there's a giant sprawling book that's currently in the background.
I raise my eyebrow as I look at the very unusual things that even back home we do not exactly have at what I'm seeing before me. And as I approach do I recognize any of these people? The two women by any chance? Due to the differences in my background.
You do recognize the species. They are kitsune. Often enough, they grow visibly old later on in life. It definitely takes a while. And you do know their race and the like. They're hard to find and are harder to uh, not pin down, but figure out what they do. Some of them are shapeshifters, some of them are refined swordsmen, and others are heavy, powerful magic casters. Shay did mention that one of them was, the one holding a very powerful spell book. So, one of them's definitely strong with magic. But you don't know them personally.
I walk up to who I assume is Vera, and I give a bow, and I tell her, "Hello, and well met. My name is Severus. May I ask for your name?"
Vera, this is Connie. Points towards Connie. Yeah, how's it going?
Hello to you as well, Lady Connie. I didn't wish to interrupt your working with Kythal, so I didn't want to pose an inconvenience for you. My apologies.
It happens. Right now, Kythal and Connie are constructing something. But Vera does continue with the more or less conversation. So, can we help you with something? Taylor and Kythal were here some time ago.
Yes, I had a number of questions that I was hoping that you and your party may be able to answer. I suppose the first thing I would like to know is what's with the very unusual light show with the books and the pages and the floating and the lights? I don't think I recognize this in particular.
Side note. Severus, are you right next to your mic? It does sound like it's scraping.
No, I'm not. Should I turn down? I turned up the input to make it louder.
Oh,
As someone said it wasn't loud enough.
Then if I had to guess, it's making it not making it difficult to hear. But if I had to guess, something's up with the audio. But that could just be on Discord side. Better.
What about now? Okay, I just turned it back down to 64.
I think
Yeah, I think you can still hear it, but it's
I think it's the mic.
You can still hear it, but it's a lot less. Like it's actually like not.
Yeah.
Really
it's fine for me.
I would keep it turned down. Yeah, keep it turned down. I turned you up a little bit. It's hard to hear you a little bit, but I can hear you okay at least.
Okay. But going back to in-game, sorry about that. Just wanted to make sure. Vera does state, the book itself is currently not conjuring, collecting, the current knowledge that is being stored today.
Cool.
That sounds interesting. It's stored from where?
Anywhere that is currently refining, adapting, or writing down magic.
So it acts as I want to say, conceptual device is that looks for the understanding of writing down magical instructions for spellcraft. Is that correct?
To a degree.
That's actually rather impressive. For an item like this, I didn't think such a thing would be capable on such a worldwide scale on something so small. I think it would need to be the size of a small country to pull that off.
Well, due to the fact that many people aren't able to use magic nowadays, it's not as difficult as it would normally be. That being the case, though, it can only hold so much. And afterwards, it needs to dump a good amount of information out. So overall, it's touch and go. And it's not like it can cast any spell. It just has the knowledge of the spell.
So you could theoretically create a nearly endless amount of scrolls.
Again, the knowledge of the spell is not how to use it properly on one's own body.
I mean, yeah,
paper.
theoretically you could do that, but yeah, you have to have the paper, the ink, and the time.
That's
magical ink and.
Very true.
I understand. I was just making a comment in passing. Due to my own old home, I hold a certain degree of magical knowledge myself. But, well, it was just a passing thought. I think it's very interesting, though. And not nearly so horrible as some other places.
It can be. Little intense to learn, though. But as I mentioned beforehand, what brings you here?
Well, this right here is very interesting, but I do hold some other interests that I would like to speak on first, Lady Vera. The first thing is that we came across, I was hoping that you might, or maybe point us in the right direction, knowledge of a handful of unusual things we've come across. Shade, I believe a couple of people, Shade and one other, I forget his name, made mention that we might be able to get the information here. The first thing we want to know, I would like to know, is how demons, fiends, or devils, or anything from the abyssal plane is able to stay here in any form when the connection between our plane and their plane has been completely severed. Due to my educational knowledge, it should be impossible. Maybe an artifact could be here, but the beings themselves, the moment that thing was cut off, they should instantaneously teleport right back to their original plane or simply die right there. I'm not sure how any can be here. Do you know where we can get this information from?
When you mention like your own plane of existence or in your own world, she does ponder this, and then states, "Well, uh, first of all, I'm sorry that you wound up here, as it will likely be difficult for you to get back to your own home. Uh, Second, there are different ways now in this world, this plane of existence, rather, that things happen. For the good or the worst of it all, the gods have very few powers here anymore. They've been severed, disconnected, and whatever power remains here is what we have here. But that also means the devil's power was also cut off, due to their own fundamental structures of balance. But that doesn't mean the demons and the devils that were not summoned here, or were summoned here rather, for an intended purpose such as corrupting a soul, changing the environment, causing an individual to go mad or sane. Those phantasms and those things still exist. And not only that, but the beings that die tend to linger on for quite some time until they can make it to the other side. During that time, it can potentially create some type of amalgamation of demonic energies and the like, collecting it over some time. In a way, it'd be creating demons and angels on the mortal plane. But the ones that were already here can't really go back to the way they were before. If they die or get killed, even in this plane, the tether that which connected them to their own plane of existence has been severed. So they go to the nearest pool of energy that they can draw power from. And that could be a multitude of things. A complete annihilation would not be possible. Think of it as... Well, think of it as science. You can create water, destroy water, all the same, but the elemental structure of the spell would still be there. The material or matter doesn't go away, it just simply disperses or completely changes into something else. Similar to the demons and devils just dying and disappearing, they can be reconstituted somewhere else, so long as the source is available.
So let me make sure I understand this right. Before the severing, if any demons or devils or fiends were here before the severing, then they would remain here even after it was severed. I was always taught that they'd immediately return back.
No, before the severing of the powers, they would return back to their plane unless they were summoned by something else on this mortal coil. After the severing, since they could not go back, they remained here, pooling in another location.
That seems a little unusual, but I suppose the situation we're in is unusual to begin with. I suppose. It seems to kind of go against all the teachings I was taught. But this is the situation we're in, and that's what we're in.
I guess your village is full of shit, huh?
What did you say?
So I guess your village was full of shit, huh?
Well, you're not wrong about that. It really was full of shit.
Get a little used to it.
The best way I can clearly describe it is think of a haunting and a wandering spirit. A wandering spirit can go various places, but it eventually does need to return back to a location. While a haunting, just the spirit gets stuck in one location, and it'll return back to that location. Each one is different, but each one is close enough to the same thing.
Well, thank you greatly for that. It does pose some interesting quandaries to me, considering our situations that we find ourselves in.
It's the very
Um,
same reasons why there's still tieflings about in this world, as well as Asimars.
I always assumed that that was just a genetic trait, except for the Asimars. No one know. I was thinking of the other ones. I thought it was always a genetic trait.
In a way, yes, but the genetic trait is tethered or tied to their ancestor, whether living or not, and most of them do tend to live.
All right. Well, let's see. The next thing that I would like to ask about is, DM. As I'm talking to her,
Mm?
I'm not certain if you read the updated backstory or not, but since my memories are a little hazy during that time, is any of these people, do I recognize any of these people in some form about the person that I met from before?
Unfortunately, I did not get to read the updated backstory.
All right, then a quick summary. The event that made me change my path to become the paladin, I came across a person being tortured, though I didn't know that word at the time,
Mhm.
by the 4 people. And I did something that I can't remember to save this person, and then I brought the person to the exit and saved them. But in the process of that, I had used my own clothing to stanch their injuries and try to heal them as I could, and then that blooded clothing would turn into the book that I use in my holy symbol for the blood of Vol religion that I follow.
Mhm.
And my character can't quite remember what it was I did or who it was that I saved, and it's kind of part of the whole roleplay backstory thing.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if these people here remind me in some form about this person.
They don't really remind you of this person, but they do remind you of similar events. They themselves are trying to help out, or at least, at the very least, trying to change things. Similar enough to the entire events of your past. They are not linked, but they are similar in some forms or fashion. Similar enough to how the book is conjured by the very world itself. Your book was conjured by your own world. While they are not similar, they can more or less read the same. It's much like English and Latin. Not English and Latin. English and Greek. Both sourced from something similar, but not exactly the same.
I understand. Yes, the next thing I would like to know, let me see if I can recall. Yes, we came across actually a crystal sphere that was part of the storms. I'm not certain if you know, but we find out that a lot of the storms hold these bits and pieces of places and powers that were once connected to either a pantheon or gods or some holy places or maybe even demonic places from before the suffering. And in order to make some kind of balance, I assume, these places were ripped and put in these crystal-like spheres, and these storms came about. We're not sure why it happened like this, but it has. What we're trying to do is find a means of countering the storms. And I was wondering, is there like a list of places, of possible powers that have existed that might theoretically these storms house. For example, I take out one of my little vials of water. This is a vial of concentrated pool of water from the Fountain of Life, I believe, or Youth. I'm not sure which. But one of the crystal spheres apparently had the fountain and its entire concept within it, which is impressive in of itself. So, and I put it back. So, I assumed there might be a list of information somewhere that might house a possible identity to what we're going to be finding eventually. Do you know where we can get a list of information of these possibilities?
Vera does look towards Shade, and Shade does nod in turn. And Vera nods in turn, as if trying to communicate something between each other. And Vera does state, there are the record keepers. People that try to keep up with the world itself, the changes of the past, the future, and the present. Currently, they are examining things and working things out, and potential leads on what the future might hold. Since they have knowledge of the past, they might be able to help you on that. She brings out a small little map and shows you the location, which is another city southwest of here. And when she points it out, you remember the maps that I think Kaithal or Taden have, and it's one of the locations of the storms that are going to hit cities, or at least the locations that the Children of Scarlet are going to go to. And then you remember, you forgot to check if this city was a location. And, well, surprisingly enough, it is.
I thought we already knew it was going to be hit from the previous day.
I mean, it was hinted at, but they never specified if it was a storm, of one of the cataclysmic storms, or just a regular event.
Well, let's see. I see. Based upon our information, this city and the city here is possibly in the path of some of the future storms that are becoming. So if you can have any sorts of protections you can place up, it's possible that any powers that are here might get snatched up and put into some of these spheres. We ourselves intend to try to counter the one that's coming here, and we're hoping that our preparations will be enough. Well, let's see. Do you know, one of the issues we're having as a means of countering the storm's effects, be it elemental or whatever its storm's property is there like some easily obtainable place, either knowledge here in the library that we could utilize to grant ourselves temporary protections against their effects for a longer period of time?
If there was, we'd be using it to save the city.
Just thought I asked, just in case. Let's see. Am I missing anything, guys? I'm not sure if I am.
I don't think so.
What?
I just wanted to see if there is any way I could learn some spells. That's what I've been doing, I guess, the last couple of days. Like in my off time is being here with Kaithal. Kaithal was learning how to build stuff, but I was trying to get access to the book of every spell. The book of all spells. Unique spells. Anyway, well, I just yeah, I think I write down. I don't know if I wrote down what spell I was trying to learn. I think I had one, but I might have.
Those 3 days hasn't started yet.
Technically, it starts tonight. Technically.
What's my bad?
Nah, you're fine.
Well, speaking of in the future, I've been not so great. I took a big boot. My spells index. Yeah, I just have a index.
Wasn't there? I believe we were told about another keeper or someone else somewhere in the icy caves underneath the city that could provide assistance of some kind. What was that one for? I forget.
That was Shade.
I think it was something beyond shade. I think for one of the artifacts that could be taken here, or something else. I'm not.
The artifacts that are here are Vera's tome, the shrine stone in the cemetery, and the statue in the footman's. Well, you're already there, but the statue in the courier's shop. The underground is just an underground protected area.
I guess the other thing I would inquire is like if, like, since we were talking about the storm and stuff, I guess I mentioned my father like fought them before and caught up. Something happened to him, but he died. I'm not going to really mention the particulars since I killed him. And what could be if there's a way to resurrect him or anything like that. And I guess I probably know about resurrection maybe, but like I think I would know it'd be pretty expensive. I don't know. I guess I'd ask about it, even though we have no way to do it right now.
Yeah, you ask, and she does state. Excuse me. She does state there are a few spells that you could probably use. One of them's reincarnation, another one's resurrection, and another one's true resurrection. They're all highly advanced magic that I myself cannot cast, but the book does hold knowledge of them. However, they are expensive in the materials that they would need to cast them.
Yeah, I don't think I have like any money either. I'm still pretty broke.
You take a different type of material beyond money to cast them. It takes a sort of high cost symbolism to cast those.
It also takes quite a long time to learn high level magic, unless your body is already prepared for that.
Do you want to see if my body's prepared for it or what? How do you know if my body's prepared for it? But I'll show you. Don't ever question my body.
You show her your 6-pack abs.
I dance a lot. I tell her I dance a lot. It's my thing. But I just I like nod and kind of write down, I guess, like the information and stuff, to keep it for later. And then I ask them if there's any way I can maybe learn any spells from them to help deal with the storms. I don't know what it could be. I guess any how to make or any items, I guess, like to help me cast spells.
Connie does state, I don't think you have the knack for that. And Vera does state, now Connie, be nice.
Bitch.
Just saying, do you have any mechanical knowledge?
My friend Kyathal here does.
I mean, I can teach him. I just can't really teach you.
Well, teach him instead if it's just mechanical stuff. But yeah, I'm looking for more spell like components and abilities and things like that.
And you want magic? Vera does state, yes.
Yeah.
In the time span that you have, you likely won't be able to learn anything too powerful. But I could teach you a new cantrip or maybe a first level spell, if you're capable of that.
Yes, I am capable of that. There's a first level spell I really like to learn. It's called Le Burning Hands. Le manos? Le manos la fuego.
Close enough Spanish. Looking towards the rest of you, Vera does state, and would any of you like to learn any other magics as well?
Do I even have the time to do so, TM? Or is
this is like pushing it. Like I think you guys have like 3 other things to do, and the third thing, if you really wanted to do it, and made you acrobatics. This is the 4th thing now.
If I don't have time, we can do that. I guess not a big deal. It's more of just a flavor thing I want to be doing later. Like I can buy a spell later, and I can learn it in my spell book. Like I can buy the spell from them anyway and just copy it in my spell book. I guess I technically don't have to learn it. Maybe I'll just buy it from them. Let me check. You keep going with Severus there. Let me check my funds real quick, boys.
But from what you can tell, you may or may not have the time. Tell when you were saying.
Oh, I don't think there's anything that Toland would want to learn from them since, like,
Wait
I
a
know
minute.
all my spells. I just need levels for spell
Wait,
levels.
I know
Yeah.
what you can learn from them. I know
think
what you can learn from them. Ask them for a child's coloring book. There's got to be one with dinosaurs in it. And then you could look at that, and then you can be one. Just kidding. I'm sorry. Oh,
I
I'm done.
think this person can grant you a spell that you normally can't learn. Is that right, DM?
No.
I guess I probably can't learn anything she can teach me then, as a paladin.
I'm not that sick.
Basically, what Vera can do at the moment in time can teach you an extra spell, which Towan is correct. He kind of doesn't benefit from this. But the rest of you could potentially.
Well, maybe he could
Yeah.
cast like a first level spell. Like maybe he can learn to cast like a first level spell of his own, an extra time per day. Maybe you can pick one, instead of taking
Yeah.
a spell slot, he just picks a spell so he can do, I don't know, entangle or whatever, just picking one, and he picks that one so he can do that one once a day for free, and he just picks one every day or whatever, decides one. It's like an extra spell slot.
Yeah, that sounds good. Make it useful for everybody.
Vera, I have another question for you.
Yes.
I was wondering, is there any information here that I can get, copy down information on potion making? I'm hoping
that'd be
to
helpful.
be able to make some out in the field, perhaps. I'm especially looking for forms of elemental protection or damage reduction, if possible. So that
I think there might be some books in the library that you might be able to check out. I don't know forever, but you might be able to check some of them out. But anything concrete of a specific field, such as potion making or weapon forging, will likely be with the shop owners in town already.
I'll still give a look-see, DM.
Go ahead and roll investigation. While looking through the area, you do find some very generic things like what's a poison plant out there in the forest? What's a good plant out there in the forest? Then you find another book that basically is like, so you want to go in the wilderness and have no idea how to live out there. And then there's another book called How to Tell When Something's Poisonous.
Looks like it's a failed search. Let me see.
Can she get just an ability like her as well as a spell?
I believe it's just a spell.
It's just a spell.
And it's mostly for wizards. I can't do it because I'm a paladin.
Yeah.
Let's see. And here the record keepers would be able to tell us what places of power, correct?
The record keepers would be able to show you the potential connections of the past. That being said, different town.
Yeah. The other thing I think of is, shoot, we're kind of missing some bits and pieces about trying to tackle a storm. We might not even be able to get there, even if after we learn everything. But we can. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. I think there is. I'm not sure.
When you mentioned that Shade has seen them before, but no one has tried to go through them, so they have no information on that.
I understand that we need a means of dealing with their frequency. I suppose I have a selfish question for you. After my whole town, if it's name, because I still haven't figured out a good name for it, had been dealt with, I was wondering, any new information by any chance but the most recent information by any chance of it, do you know anything of it?
I have no idea what you just said, Severus. Well, at least I didn't understand what you said. It just simply, to me, sounded like, do you have any information on it? And I am not sure what you mean by it.
Start over. My old town, I haven't made its name yet, because I still haven't got a good one.
Mhm.
I'm asking her if she has heard, what is the most recent information she may have heard about it since I assume it's somewhat infamous due to its dark history and how they occasionally, abducted people in places due to how evil they were. And um, what is the most recent information you may have heard of it, if there is any?
Just stories of the past, things that have happened quite a long time ago. Again, travel to other planes is extremely hard and nearly nigh impossible, so just stories of the past. The last thing I heard was someone from that realm coming into this world, uh, roughly a couple months ago, but didn't really look into it.
Thank you. The last thing I at the moment is to ask about the Ouroboros Inn. It was an. Do you know anything about it? It's a little unusual and probably on the ancient side, but it is something that I came across once. I was curious about more information.
Just general end of the world situations, but again, not really my topic of field.
Very well. I think that's about it for me. Thank you for your time.
Of course.
And thank you for teaching us, stuff. Yeah, I thank her for teaching Kyle myself, spells and, other, well, Kyle learning something else, I guess. But anyway, yeah, I'm good to go. I don't have anything else to ask about, I guess. We're going to find more about what's going on here in this storm, maybe.
She greets you both, and then you potentially leave. That being said, Joen disconnected.
Oh, that's Toll?
I don't see him.
Yep.
For the moment, he'll probably be back when he can.
I thought I heard somebody leave, but I thought I heard it come back.
I thought it was just my connection, because
Nope.
things for me went red there for a second. But everything came back except for Tolan. He was having connection issues, so with any luck, he comes back. Okay, but basically, this is the start of where you guys split apart or stay together and go train in certain locations. The potion shop will teach you general basic potions, the potion of healing. I think there might have been something else, but I think it's just healing potions right now. Let's see here. The performer will teach you how to resonate with sound and music, and teach you a song that would resonate with the current frequency that you showed her, which is good. There was a third location, which is the messengers within the city itself. The brother of the guy Talon accidentally sent off early will teach you how to not step of the wind. What's it called?
Misty Step.
Misty Step. Welcome back, Talon. Towan.
Thanks.
So basically, this is the part where you guys split off or stay together. So, to reiterate, potion shop to learn some potions, messenger area to learn Misty Step, and then the bar to learn music. Where is everyone heading?
Well, I guess we have to start at which one happens the soonest.
Like, you're able to do all three. Within potential reason. Two definitely. Third one, you'll have to roll for that one. Also, you might just not succeed on learning it.
I
So
suppose Misty Step first. 'cause
the
it's
more or
most-
less first one to start would be the potion shop. After that, it would be the it's a split between messenger and performer.
I think Misty Step is perhaps the most important since only 2 people can do it.
like each shop will be open for a while after their air quotes closing, but it all depends on where you guys want to do.
Well, I'm the only one doing the potions. The other two are not doing that.
Okay. Servers to potions. What about Tolwyn and Taylor? I'm gonna say Kaithel's here learning about more robotic magic.
I'm just learning my spell. Learning my first level spell. Burning hands. Because I want to stab somebody and I stab somebody, I want to start burning them because that just sounds awesome.
Okay.
I thought
Taylor
we're gonna
stays
do the
here then.
song.
Yeah, you go learn how to make potions to heal me after I burn someone alive.
But I thought you were also doing the song thing.
The song?
I thought you were going to the tavern to learn to sing.
Like that's not there for a while, at least a little bit more time. He can definitely do two things, like I mentioned beforehand.
Well, one and the other.
And
Yeah.
and technically, Taylor does already know Misty Step, so it doesn't really to really learn because nothing will happen.
Yeah. Stacking up on Misty Steps. So
Please
check
continue.
important all the fucking book.
Taylor, where are you heading off to?
Yeah, I'll stay. I mean, I'm just I'm going to be either here or I'm going to be in the inn drinking,
All right.
gambling.
So Vera and then
But
the
I'm not
tavern.
training. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably
What about
unless somebody else needs my help.
yeah? And Tolwyn.
Sorry. So there, I had some audio issues there. So what was the other options?
So the four options are going to the potion shop to learn how to make healing potions.
Right.
Going to Vera, which is here, and learning a cantrip or first level spell. For you, would it be in a basic new spell slot of first level?
Right.
Then there's learning the song from the bar.
Okay.
The fourth one is Misty Step.
I guess Misty Step.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have you on the line, so let's just do servers first. Oh, Tolwyn's already here.
I said Misty Step, not potions.
Oh, okay. Oh, everyone's here. If they're coming back after closing hours, or at the very least within reason, entering inside, you do find Johnny more or less on the second story until he notices you guys, and basically he doesn't Misty Step down. Rather, he just grabs onto some of the plankings on the area and slides his way down until he hits the bottom. So you wanted to learn magic?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
All right.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I can teach you. I just can't really do it myself. Not really trained with magic. My brother is, but he's not really here. All right. Well, first off, you have to. He then shows you a archaic mark of draconic origin, basically writing down Misty Step the spell. He puts it on a small rock with some piece of chalks he has, because he likes to graffiti walls, and then begins to scuff it in there to a fine degree. All right. You first have to memorize this rune. Memorizing within your own mind, it won't be that difficult. But if you don't ingrate it into your soul, you won't be able to cast the spell onto yourself. All right. Tolwyn and Cerberus, go ahead and roll. I'll let you decide, but it has to be an intelligence roll.
So like Arcana or this?
checks that you feel are fitting.
Well, the only intelligence things that I'm good at are nature and religion, and neither of those seem particularly applicable.
For me, it would be either Investigation or Arcana. I'm going to go with Arcana. But I would like to give myself a boost in order to memorize it.
Boost how?
I'm thinking of using the... If I'm able to... Shoot. Is it Bless?
Paladins can learn bless, yeah.
It's not a saving throw, though. Never mind. Then I'll use a spell slot to try to enhance my body to memorize, if I can.
It'll give you like a +1, but that's about it.
I'll take it.
Okay. Tolwyn, for the most part, nature would be applicable only because you're quite literally ingraining it into your actual natural self, making it a part of you rather than it being a foreign object, or at least a foreign power.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll use nature then.
The other one, not so much.
No, yeah, religion not so much. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and roll.
Yeah, I rolled pretty good.
All right, that's 12. For the course of time that you guys have, till when you do begin to ingrain it into yourself, you are able to learn how to memorize this sigil, ingrain it into your mind, ingrain it into your body, allowing your mind to memorize it, and then eventually incorporating magic into it, or at least a funneling of nature energy into it to allow it to disperse without an issue. Servers, it takes a little longer. You'll definitely have to try again tomorrow night, but you are almost there. It's not complete, but you are getting the handle of it. Not completely dead, but it was tough. After all, this wasn't a normal spell that you went and wording. After all, it's not a spell that you already know, so learning a new spell is tough.
I understand.
Someone just got lucky, perhaps. It's the same way how when you first learn math, people understand it a little faster. But for the most part, you do more or less get it. Johnny then states, all right, can one of you use magic on this stone? Basically expending a spell slot.
I reach out and expend a spell slot on stone.
All right, you do so, and the stone itself begins to vibrate, and then he states, all right, the spell itself can go for a while in the distance, and basically just ignore some of the surrounding area. Not really going through it, but going around it. Here, I'll show you. And then begins to chuck it directly towards a stained glass window. Before it actually hits, it disappears, and on the other side, 30 feet next to it, continues to hover into town. You then hear just someone shouting profane things as they likely got hit by the rock, but, you know, the glass is fine. Yeah, something like that.
Very interesting.
Very nice, thank you.
It's basically having your body going into another plane of existence for a short moment in time, and then coming back on the other end, not affecting this material plane. But still part of this material plane, according to my brother. Alright, for the next part of this training, you have to hone your magic into a refined point to allow you to sever into the next shifting domain. So, this one involves wisdom, trying to be keen of mind and body, as well as wise enough to keep your mind and body contained. Any applicable rules are allowed to you.
So insight would be fine.
Yes.
What about perception?
Perception as well, as you will be perceiving how things are fluctuating and how your body would stay intact while also moving through something else. Nice. This part, both of you get it quite well. It does seem that your fundamental natures, as well as your own wisdom, seem to work well with this part. You can definitely tell that these two things are being incorporated together, and eventually, Trolwyn perhaps tomorrow, and Cerberus, if you're lucky, tomorrow the spell will be fully integrated into your own bodies. But over the course of time and over some training, these two things begin to overlap and train into themselves. While Johnny is young, he is a competent teacher, only because, well, he's likely been trying to do this over some time, and, well, due to the fact that he doesn't have any magic, it just doesn't track, but he is able to teach others. And after a while, your guys' time, well, for this section, is up. All right, come back here tomorrow, and I'll see what you guys can do.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate this. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Sure. And we move over to Talon. And back to the library.
Yeah.
Going back to learn the magic itself, you do come across a spell that you are into more or less. To cast Burning Hands, or was it Heat Metal? I forget.
Burning Hands.
To cast Burning Hands into the integration of your system, Vera does state. All right, let's see here. Burning Hands, burning. Oh, yes, it's here. It's a little tricky, but it should be doable. Do you already have any finesse with elemental magic?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Then it shouldn't be as difficult as most others. So, if you already have a connection with nature itself, as well as magical properties, it should more or less just take time. She begins to write on quill and ink on a piece of paper, and then begins to write a sigil of Burning Hands into the piece of paper itself. Written in Primordial, she does show you it, and flips it over to you. Alright, the first part you need to do is ingrain this not into you, but rather expand and look within yourself that it's already there. More or less, people do theorize that magic, or at least those with magic, have these properties already. So you'll have to pierce into your very body and look for the fire property in there. Since you already have a connection with elements themselves, you would be able to siphon or cipher through some of them already. So Talon, go ahead and roll anything having to do with perceptions, investigations, something of that nature to find the, well, already elemental energy inside of you. Since you already have elemental magic, you gain a +2.
Yeah, I mean, I have some elemental magic, but what was the roll again, though?
Anything
Okay.
having to do with looking for something.
Investigation?
Yes.
Why not? Investigating.
It's an 11.
I'm investigating right now.
Trying to focus in onto the magic properties that you have. It's tough, it's crude, it's
I don't
difficult.
get it.
You do eventually, after 30 or 40 minutes, find the fire elemental, or at least the fire elements within your body. Toa, no problem. And your body begins to resonate with heat itself. Now that is being activated in your body, Vera does state, all right then, this next part is channeling words. That energy into the palms of your hands. With that, you'll have to focus in and hone those skills into your palms. So, for this check, you'll have to, quite literally, your body has to...
Not dying.
No, you're not going to die.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't tell you which one to roll.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just rolled the same thing.
Nah, it's fine.
My bad.
this time you'll have to push the energy into your palms. So anything affiliated with that, like strength, your dexterity, or your will of mind, can work. Investigation is good. Good enough at the very least.
Do Arcana, I guess.
Arcana would also work, yes.
It'd be like super
Uh,
low. Nice.
I was about to say we can use your roll, but just change the modifier. But same modifier, so the roll is the same. Also, you got a 25 in that one, so I'll just give it to you.
Dice.
Your energy begins to accumulate up the body and then into your arms and then down into your hands. Once that happens, it begins to pool into your palms and begins to resonate there. As that approaches Verida's state. All right, then. Now you'll have to keep that energy there and allow your body to get accustomed to it. For this one, you'll have to roll a Constitution save.
Okay. Did I know I was gonna be doing this?
Yeah, you would know.
Can I start blade singing before I did it then?
Sure. It's a little weird that you're dancing in the middle of this, but she ain't judging.
I get to add a +3 to it then.
Yeah.
I get add a
19.
plus. That's a 19. Yeah.
Nice. Honing in that fire into your palms, it begins to burn into your skin. So much so that since you haven't actually tested that spell out beforehand, it kind of hurts. But your body doesn't get adjusted to it immediately, but it does weather the storm. Much like when, you accidentally forget that the hot water is on when you're washing your hands. And you accidentally burn yourself. But after a small time, you do get adjusted to it. Some type of fashion in the same thing. Welcome back, Tolman. You are able to learn this, and likely by tomorrow, as Verida state. Alright, if you continue to train with this set of skills, you should be able to learn it. It's just studying it, honing it, and then coming by tomorrow to see if you can do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
You've been most helpful. I always like to learn new spells if I can.
So Talon, you got the first two parts almost honed down with enough training, which you can easily do, like while you're long resting, or at least before you long rest. That's easy enough. Finding the fire and extruding it out immediately, that was the main problem for you. So as long as you pass the investigation check, air quotes, tomorrow, you should be fine.
Okay. Well, I would make sure to bring her a flagon. I ask her if she likes wine or anything to drink.
Beer.
Okay. I kind of shrivel my nose a little bit and yeah, sure, I'll get that. Okay. And I I thought I'd bring two flagons of ale for her. One for her and a friend. Once.
Be appreciated.
Yeah. And I bow and thank her again and leave.
Of course.
Or whatever, depart whenever.
You depart and head out towards your potential next destination. So, Tolwyn and Cerberus, where are you guys heading off to next? If you decide to do something else next.
I'd probably just be heading for the singing.
All right.
I'll be heading towards singing too.
Okay. I think you guys are totally already there. Let's find out. Nope, this is Kython Talon. Again.
We're everywhere.
Yeah. Actually, before I forget, Talon, do you go over here too?
Where is that? Or where are they going?
Learning to try to learn the song, or at least try to learn the frequency to break through with a song.
I dance. They can sing.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go there. I'll go there to drink and watch.
Okay. It sounds good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Also-
emotionally supportive, but that's about it.
Also, our last member's supposed to be here too.
Yes. Give me 1 second, because he was in the GM layer. Alright, you accidentally find yourselves at the betting bar. This time around, if you do decide to bet, Talon, I will steal air quotes, steal your money, take your money.
I left the money off last time. I was like, I bet. I went in there, and I was like, well, you don't bet. You don't play and fucking whine when you lose.
That's true.
Fucking-
I mean, last time
you said I could have it back, and I was like, okay. I didn't put it back because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna bet again. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can win.
I mean, the last time was kind of a offhanded joke. This time, though, this time,
Yeah, I'm playing for keeps.
So, after some time,
Feeling is a problem.
you might. Winry's time, more or less, is up, and another individual does take the stage. I'm just gonna pick up a random NPC. This guy. Currently, it's open mic, and this guy decided to go up there. More on that later, maybe. Probably not.
Open mic. Slaves.
So, Winry does come forward, and she does state, so are these the others that you stated would be arriving? Looking towards Kaithal. Kaithal nods, and then she does state, very well then. Based on the frequency that you've shown me, I can teach you a song that will match the frequency and go through it. Are you all able to perform quite well?
I have some ability to do so, yes.
I'm mostly tone deaf, but I'm gonna try.
No one's ever complained about how I perform.
Oh, and Lady Winry, we thank you greatly for your aid in this. And I have to say, I was told that you were quite striking, but now as I've seen you perform, you're practically on fire. It's very memorized much to hear.
Thank you kindly. In the background, you do hear the orc with 4 tusks. I don't know why they gave him 4 tusks. In the background, singing some sea shanties. He's pretty good, but it kind of ruins the moment. Winry does state. Thank you. That being the case, though, if you're all able to perform, or even if you're not, someone can still learn the song. It's not that impossible. In order to harmonize and commune, you would need to, in the best case scenario, learn the song completely for each of you. In the worst case, you would just at least need to learn your part and harmonize. So, for this one, it's simple performance. You would just need to perform quite well. Taylin honestly could learn this if he wanted to.
I mean, is it good for my character to learn? Like, I guess, like, I'll learn it. Whatever, fine. If they're not gonna make me do it, I'm good at performing, and I have advantage on performance if I'm blade singing. So, I will. Actually, I don't know if it's a blind. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see.
I rolled the exact same number 3 times in a row now.
Oh wow!
Every single roll was 14.
You have advantage on dexterity, acrobatics. I think if I'm just a blade sailor, I just become proficient in performance. I'm just proficient in it. Like,
I mean, it's still pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, well, whatever. Rolling it.
I think I'll need multiple.
With a few drinks in, just instead of listening to Winry's song, you go with the sea shanty instead. Like, not even bothering. Maybe a little too drunk. Maybe a little too difficult. Ironically enough, Tolwyn, not exactly one to pick up a tune, is able to perform quite well. Not the best performance you've ever seen, but definitely someone that has, in her words, raw potential. Definitely doesn't have the voice for someone to sing high notes, but I'm not going to use the term because I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. But one that can pick up the low tones and medium tones. Definitely the voice that can boom the song into the ears or the hearts of men and women. That being the case, though, Taylin begins to heavily drunkily sing, and that may or may not have caused Cerberus to get a little performance shy and did not pick up the note when needed to be picked up. Kythal. I'm going to roll for Kythal.
Sorry, Winry, I think I need another lesson.
Performance. Kythal more or less didn't do so great. After the first performances, she does state, "No, that's all right. I do have a little bit more time. Let's try to see if we can do this again." Thankfully enough, each night you're able to do this twice, which does mean you can potentially learn it tonight. Tolwyn could potentially learn it tonight. Everyone else, not so much.
I mean, I did okay. I didn't do that bad. I did okay.
All right. Another performance roll, if you will.
Coleman's gonna try. Oh, there we go. That's more like me.
Yeah, I didn't call for it, but I'm not stopping this performance. Just saying. It's getting better, though. As I'm drinking. It's getting better. I already messed up the roll from earlier. I'm just saying, like, my performance is continuing on. It's not what it's supposed to be, though.
Man, this is the least hard one to do, but just about everyone has failed and passed. Even Kythal. So, the next set of tunes, everyone begins to perform a little bit better. Talon, not wanting to be upstarted by Tolwyn, begins to, actually pay attention to things, and Service, learning the lessons that they did, perform close to the same concepts as Tolwyn, but using their own voice to pick up the song where it needs to be picked up. Kythal does their best, and definitely is almost there, but not quite. Tolwyn, on the other hand, maybe got a little bit too uppity on themselves and began to accidentally crack their voice, trying to bring in much emphasis into the song, causing it to crack. So everyone is currently possible to learn it tomorrow. Tonight, you'll need to rest your voices for the remaining night. Unless you all decide to head somewhere else to the third thing, which you would all need to roll acrobatics checks to get there.
I'm still singing. Oh my god. I'm fucking singing, doing great.
Yeah. That being the case, though, Talon, you hurt your voice extremely, but you are able to perform the song well.
I'm not performing the correct song, though. It's not the right song.
I'm not saying you learned Winry's song. I'm saying you learned the sea shanty.
Good,
the sea shanty is perfect.
Good. Yeah, fucking crushing it right
now. Anyways.
Like, wait, that was the wrong song? Why didn't anybody say anything? Like, well, it kind of got good at the end.
It's quite well, Winry does state. But for tonight, I will need to be resting, and so should all of you.
Fine.
Thank you.
Of course. Looks towards Talon. She also states, more or less, I don't really sing those songs, so that's quite an honest and good performance. Other than Cerberus, anyone else heading towards a potential third thing? Cerberus, I will tell you, you got the check, so you were able to make it in time.
I don't think Tolan would be going anywhere else. He's probably just gonna rest up here.
Sounds good.
I've been drinking, so I'll probably stay here too, I guess.
All right.
We're actually staying at a different inn, aren't we? Yeah.
From what I remember, you guys are not in this inn, but the Dragon Head Inn.
Yeah. Tolwyn will help Talon make it to this inn so that when Talon is finished drinking, he's near his bed.
That's joke's on you. I'm never gonna finish.
Tolwyn will.
I say, join me,
drink, but he will not last that long.
Over the course of time, you guys are able to make it back here without too much of an issue. In the meantime, though, Service does sprint to the other destination to try to make it before it completely closes. Luckily enough, you did make it, but man, was it a struggle. And
man, I like having Cerberus on our team because I can sit here and drink and he does the things that we're supposed to be doing.
Well, technically, this is something you can do, not something you necessarily have to do.
He's the best, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's pretty good, you know? That's why I'm just telling this. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's a pretty good guy. You know, I mean, you see him run out there, and I'm just like, man, I got exhausted just looking at him. I like to dance. Anyway, we should drink some more.
Hello, Sperzani and
You're
Lady
here.
Rebecca.
Oh, you made it in time. We were almost about to close. Rebecca, do you mind getting the ingredients in time? Sure. She goes over to the other side, and since Rebecca has been training this entire time, she does not necessarily join you, but she does watch your performance. Zoni does state, all right then. I'm going to teach you the basics of how to use common remedies and herbs to create a potion of standard healing. That itself is quite difficult, but as long as you have the finite medicine knowledge, you should be able to do it.
Should I
Severus.
use my alchemist supplies for my roll?
If you have those, I suppose you could, but a better way would be medical supplies.
I don't think medical supplies is a tool per se, unless I'm wrong. I don't
It's
have-
not named medical supplies. I think it's named medicine kit.
Oh, a medicine kit is not like a tool.
It's not a
proficiency.
tool proficiency though. But I was gonna basically make it one here. Either one would work, honestly. But yeah.
I'll use my alchemist supplies if you please.
You do have 3 chances to try to hone an ingredient into your system. You need to be 2 out of 3. And looking through it and trying to do it, Zoni goes through the steps and you begin to perform them quite well. You are able to create more or less the proper liquid to drink and consume it. Afterwards, he does state, all right, very good. Now then, try to imbue a bit of your magic into it to lap in and finite hold the property of healing. This one will require a Arcana check. Not terrible, but not bad. Well, those are the exact same things I just said. Anyways, you begin to funnel in magic in there to make sure that the properties hold for quite some time, making them preserved. Corking it, Zoni does state. Alright, the first attempt is not that bad. Rebecca learned it in one night as well, but making the medicines itself does seem to be your forte, but ingraining it to making it last might prove a bit difficult, but we still have time to try, at least for tonight. Service, go ahead. You passed 1.5 of 3 checks. 1/2 of 3 checks, sorry. I did my math wrong. Alright. Another alchemist supplies check. Not bad. Performing the same rituals and making the liquid once more. It does seem that you got the liquid down. So you passed 2 of those out of 3, so that one is no longer applicable, so you can easily do that now. Go ahead and roll Arcana to try to make it preserved and hold the structured form of healing. Nice. This time around, you actually do finally hold the medicine in there. He does look towards it, he nods in approval, and he does state, it does seem like you're getting this quite well. You might even throw Rebecca for a run for her money. Yes, I know that's the improper way of saying that. I screwed up. Moving forwards. Zoni does state, all right. Now let's see, if you will. You already rolled 2 alchemist supplies checks, so and they worked well. You don't need to roll that anymore. You just need to roll 1 more and beat an Arcana check. So close. It does seem to work quite well when trying to preserve it. It does not fully take place. You are more than likely, definitely going to be able to learn this tomorrow. But for tonight, Zoni's tired, Rebecca's tired. They had to stay here for a little bit longer since you showed up so late. So at this point in time, he does begin to put things away, and then he does stay. You did quite well. Honestly, I was almost amazed that you would make it here tonight and learn it tonight. Seems you have a knack for it, but tomorrow, as I'm afraid I'm too tired, and I need to collect the herbs for tomorrow's training as well.
Got it.
All right, then. To tomorrow then. And you head out back to likely the bar, because that is where you're sleeping tonight.
Yeah, so I pass our Lady Lana. I give her a wave and a smile, take a quick bite to eat, and go to bed.
All right. Eventually, Tolwyn and Talon do just basically pass out over the drinks. Tolwyn more than likely before anyone else because he's currently away.
I dragged Tolan up to his room this time.
Once again, since travelers aren't really here currently, free really straight to go into any rooms you want.
I even I take the time and I cast like Find Familiar, and I use I go to the fireplace and I sit there drunkenly and cast it, and I change my familiar into a small dog. It's not very it's not very big, but something I have it help me pull Tolwyn up the stairs and stuff because I'm too drunk to pick him up. I'm also really fucking weak. And then I'll even take the time to summon the unseen servant as well. I'm too weak and I'm too drunk to do it myself. So I'm helping, but we're all working together on this one. I won't leave a man behind.
All right.
It looks really funny.
Manifesting your bird into something else, more akin to a battle hound. Welcome back, Tolwyn.
Oh, he missed that? Oh. Tolwyn, do you want me to try that again? I feel like Tolwyn has an input on that one.
This time around, Talon did help Tolwyn to bed because they both got plastered, but Talon had enough magic to get everyone to bed. So, summoning in the hound, invisible servant, dragging Tolwyn to bed, and Talon to their own abode, you all do eventually fall back to sleep and start off the next day. Just fine, well rested, a little tired having to use your brains and magic in a new way, but overall getting used to it. So you guys definitely have time to do other things other than learn if you want to. But you basically say, hey, we waste the day away until we need or actually get to learn the next steps of our training. Up to you guys.
I mean, I'm going back. It's important for me to learn that spell, so I'm going to keep training until I learn it.
Mm-hmm. That's not until nightfall. You guys honestly just woke up.
Yeah.
So you can say, hey,
I just start drinking probably.
We drink, we have fun until nightfall, and our training commences. If you want to, or you can do other things.
I suppose I would like to... Is Lana busy by any chance?
Lana is running the bar. Unfortunately, there are still people living here. Just no paying in customers. So she is running a few things, but she is able to spend time with you guys to talk if you guys need it or want it.
Well, during the time that we're not doing stuff at night, I would like to casually, semi-seriously flirt with her a bit as I'm drinking and wasting time here until it's time for me to go learn some stuff.
All right. Cerberus, while you casually flirt, I want you to go ahead and roll... It's not persuasion. It's more like a performance thing. It's definitely charisma. Persuasion. That's not bad. Over the course of time, learning a few things about one another and just having a good time. Flirtatiously looking at each other, making a small few quips. Lana's into it. That's not that hard to see. She is quite fair-skinned, waving hair, and she is quite pretty. The most eminent point of facts, the green emerald eyes. It's a little unique to non-tieflings. So for her to have those is quite unique. So you remind her about them almost being like emerald jewels. And the hardened flame of hell itself, which more or less is what I feel like Cerberus would compliment her in that way, because she is a tiefling after all. So connecting things to her own form is something that you could do. And Lana does take into that quite well. Over the course of time, she is friendlier with you. She's not exactly head over heels. After all, she does have to entertain with people a lot, and she likely gets hit on a lot. But, this actually feels genuine. So she does take that to heart, is more nice to you, in a way of not quite sure if she should fall for you since you're someone that's coming into town but likely leaving it. So it's more like, one night fling wouldn't hurt.
I'm sorry, but I can't help it. But that's not the only thing we're gonna be coming in. But all right, sorry.
Alright. Taylor and Towin, what are you two gonna do?
I'm probably gonna go work on the Misty Step and the song. But if there's time, if there's just free time,
Yes.
I think Tolan would probably go and spend some time inspecting the stone obelisk thing in the cemetery.
Oh, okay. And what about you, Taylor?
I mean, I guess I'll see if they can take one or two of those flagons to go, and I'll go with Tolwyn just in case.
Okay.
I'm
Cemetery.
feeling thirsty.
Maybe
Well-
drinking at a cemetery is not the best idea, but okay.
Well, my character
Well.
feels like he wants to party.
Oh, I did say I brought one or two, and one or two I meant 3 or 4 because I still have one into it.
Coming into the area, Morrow does greet you both. And looking towards the actual stonework itself, you come forwards and more than likely greet them. They greet you back and simply states, so what brings you here?
I just thought it might be interesting to spend some time studying the stone here and seeing if I can glean anything from it, seeing as it is supposedly an important relic in the area.
Quite true. I suppose you can if you'd like. So long as you don't destroy it.
Oh, I promise to be very respectful.
We wouldn't do that again. I mean,
He takes it as a joke. Not knowing.
Oh, sorry. Misspeak. Sorry. Yeah.
All right then.
Owen visibly cringes.
Remembering the stone you guys recently destroyed. All right.
Taylor's like, I'm glad I'm here to help.
While Talon's drinking, Tolwyn, you're investigating the stone?
Yeah.
I'm giving the help action, though. I'm giving the help action.
Yes, you are.
I'm giving a boost so you can look closer.
Perfect.
Basically, Talon's drinking while saying, "Hey, have you checked that part out yet?" And then taking another swig.
Ooh, look over here. This is pretty.
So yeah, I'd like to inspect this thing and see if there's anything interesting about it, I guess.
Investigation.
Investigation.
Help action, so advantage.
Yay. So it's
19.
really advantage -1 just because of me. 'Cause I'm drunk.
Yeah.
My advantage -1.
Holding over the skills that Talon is just poking at areas, and Tolwyn, you take a look to humor them. You are able to finitely check just about everything. Maybe not everything, as you can't check underground or in the core of this thing. But looking at it, you can tell that the form and function of it is like a giant sphere. Surrounding it are like various other monuments. They're not part of the shrine itself, but they look like they're holding the sphere in place. So more than likely this thing is movable, but looking at it very closely, you can tell that there's small, near imperceptible slits all around it, almost like a giant puzzle.
Oh, interesting.
But the thing itself is made out of concrete stone, actual stones, as well as other metals, base metals, as well as gold, platinum, and silver.
Okay. And how big is it? It's like...
You wouldn't be able to carry it, but it is 15 by 15 by 15.
Right, okay. So it's pretty decent size.
It's decent. It's not like a giant monolith, but it is big.
Yeah. It's like the size of a car.
Big truck.
Yeah, big truck. Okay. I guess I just ask Morrow about these, like about the fact that it kind of looks like it might be like puzzle pieces fitted together. If he knows anything about that.
I'm surprised you saw that. Yes, it does seem to me that the thing itself is more or less a giant. Well, I theorize it's a giant container, and the puzzle piece structure itself would be a way of unlocking it. However, not exactly strong. I haven't actually tried to do it myself. If you're able to, move the thing, you're more than welcome to try. But the pedestals around it are what keeps it in place.
Well, perhaps I might. I'll attempt to do so delicately and then not tip anything over, if that's okay with you, under your supervision.
Of course.
Okay. I'll wild shape into a. Think here. I think I can do a bear. Just something large that has more strength than Tiny Tolwyn.
At this point, you begin to change and alter yourself into a massive.
Let's see here. CR1. I think I can just turn into a straight up. Yeah, I can turn into a brown bear.
Yeah, I think so. Into a
They have a
massive
strength of 19.
brown bear. Strong, sturdy, and agile. Severus comes into the area just checking out to see what you guys do, and also just to bring him into the event. Because honestly, Severus might be just at the bar flirting for a while. Give him something to do in the meantime as well.
Mm-hmm.
Going for a walk. Not technically a part of this, but can intervene if he likes. Tolwyn, you turn into a massive bear while Tillion's taking a swig of drink and maybe deciding maybe he drank a little too much. Then remembers, oh yeah, wild shape. You can, with the strength of 19. Honestly, I thought you guys would do this as a technical group, but you can do it on alone now you have that strength. Tolwyn, figuring out a puzzle is tough, and the many times I give you puzzles, it takes a while. So I'm just going to use your character instead. Go ahead and roll any intelligence checks you feel are applicable to solving a puzzle. This is basically a giant spherical puzzle or a Rubik's Cube.
Right. Intelligence based.
Your intelligence, not the intelligence of a bear.
Yeah. Nature, probably not. Religion, probably not. Those are the only things I'm proficient in. So it'll just be basically a straight intelligence roll.
I mean, you can give me a decent reason why there could be other things.
Well, I was thinking insight, because it, like, now that I can see that it's a puzzle, looking around, trying to see how the different parts fit together, like understanding the flow of the puzzle.
Yeah.
The intentionality of it, sort of.
Yeah, that sounds good. Talon, are you still giving that drunken help action?
Yep. Advantage -1.
Sounds good.
Here for you.
27.
26. No, you don't get it. Circling the puzzle around, making sure that things are placed in the proper order, you begin to physically move the stone and metals around it. You then hear a few clicks and clatters as if they're holding the thing in place, not allowing it to break fully apart. So that's a good thing. And then you begin to move it and shift it, allowing the other pieces to move and shift. Over the course of time, you are able to eventually solve the puzzle. It does take well, normally it would take a couple of hours because, group movement puzzle pieces all around. But Tolwyn's a giant bear that can move things pretty easily. So it only takes an hour or so.
Nice.
Eventually, you are able to fully synchronize the puzzle into its new form, place it all together, and then the thing begins to shake as if there's something inside. You saw when you removed or moved the puzzle pieces around, it was more mechanical than you at first expected. Now, finishing the puzzle, it begins to shake in your paws. Do you place it down or hold on to it?
Hey, Talon, am I more drunk than I expected? Or is that a bear playing with the puzzle?
You're definitely more drunk than expected, but that is also a bear playing with a puzzle.
What?
I give a sage.
I'm pretty sure it's Tolan.
I give a sage nod, and I hold up a flag and say, "Keep up the good work, Tolan Bear."
Why are you guys just drinking this cemetery, man?
He grunts. Okay, so how violently is it shaking? Like, if I was to like set it down on these other monuments that are sort of around it, do I think it would damage them?
It might like bob into them, and you're not exactly sure if that would damage them.
Or to
But it's
Severus.
not so extremely violent that you couldn't hold on to it, but you're not exactly sure what would happen because it is activating something. You just don't know if it's good or bad.
Right. I might set it down in an open space of ground, like behind me, just so that it's just like so that if it does, it's like say if it like popped open or something like that, or changed shape, it wouldn't damage any of the other monuments that people have put here.
Before he puts it down,
yes.
I look at fucking at Severus or whatever. Yeah, I won't say Kelmore again. I was laughing. I look at Severus. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but he told him must be telling himself jokes over there. Look at him just shaking and laughing over there. What the hell is he talking about in bear voice over there? He isn't talking to anybody.
All I'm
What the
hearing
fuck is going on over there?
All I'm hearing is some growls and a couple of farts.
Yeah, but he's shaking though. He's laughing about it.
While this is going on, Kaithal comes in with the. Since everyone else is drinking in the cemetery, sure, Kaithal comes in with a giant brewski, downs it, asks the same question Cerberus did about the bear and the giant ball, nods, and continues to drink. Tolwyn, where exactly do you place it in the cemetery? It is 15 by 15, so spot.
Let me zoom out a little bit on the map. I guess these graves around the outside are all flat on the ground, right?
Yes.
So maybe like here.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, there's a couple of things close to it, but like it seems like a relatively open area, and still close to where it's supposed to be. And Morrow's still right there, so yeah.
All right.
Making sure that Morrow can always like see what's going on. So, like, he's like the guy that kind of watches this thing. So
yeah. So coming into the area where it's more open, you begin to place it down. Cerberus getting closer as well, wondering what it's about to happen. Placing it down on the ground, the ball, the sphere, the weird puzzle thing begins to continue to shake, and then basically, without anything holding it in place, shakes more violently, and then basically ricochets into the building to the right, bounces back, and Cerberus and Tolwyn, go ahead and roll dexterity saving throws.
oh boy. Okay, let me see. Dex saving throws.
Come on.
Bear.
I roll so something.
Brown Bear is not proficient in that and has a dex of 10, so that's just a straight d20 roll. I rolled a 10.
Both of you failed.
Okay.
Immediately it hits you guys for 5 points of bludgeoning damage. If you can have that or reduce it, you're more than welcome to. It hits a body of mass and then moves to the side. You can tell that the ball is just moving on a curved point, and then once it strikes something, it moves in a different direction. Eventually, it does stop, and rolls around next to Tolwyn and Cerberus. After the entire momentum is gone. Maybe. For some reason, it did stop, though. It did not crush you. It did not go over you, which it normally should if, it was a ball normally. But it stopped when it hit you and then went a different direction. After a while, it does place itself where you paused it, and you, Tolwyn, realize the monuments are there to hold it in place. It probably also implied after it was solved.
Right.
Can I use a divine sense?
Sure.
Sense anything holy or demonic or undead or anything like that?
You sense. Looking at my notes. I mean, it's gonna appear itself anyway, so I'm just gonna tell you. You sense being a fae.
Hey, Tolwyn, and Kylo, everybody. Is my drink still okay? Yeah, it's still okay. Take a sip. I think there's a face something in that thing.
As that happens, the ball itself then begins to actually break down. Not like break apart, but basically like... man, I don't remember what the actual thing is. But it basically unfolds and then rolls itself down completely into a flat monument-like structure. On the monument itself seems to be a strange weapon, circular in nature, but on the edges of it seems to be a refined blade. For those in the military or those with a more fighting background, you would know that this is a chakram.
I thought it was a chakram, but you said it was round.
Circular. Whatever. Wrong definition.
Huh. That's interesting.
Pinpointing your sense, it is the chakram itself that is in Fey origin.
That chakram there seems to be from the Fae. Well, Tolwyn, you solved whatever it was that was trying to be solved. It's up to you if you want to reach out for it.
Bear Tolwyn scratches his face and looks over at Morrow, like quizzically, like, "What do you think?"
Not quite sure, really. Also, I don't understand how I understand you as a bear, but I'll leave that to mystery. You can pick it up if you'd like. Honestly, the monument itself is all we really need. No one really knows what's inside, and, for the study would be beneficial, rather than harmful.
Alright, so Tolwyn will first, still as a bear, so that he can still move things, lift up, like, the giant, like, disc, and put it back where it's supposed to be.
Alright.
As opposed to just sitting on the ground off to the side.
You grab underneath and move the pedestal mount structure. The chakram falls to the ground, but it doesn't do anything, blow up, destroy. You, as a bear, quickly put it back into a ball, and then slightly put it back on the shelf.
Yep. And then I'll turn back into my normal form. Be like, "Hey, I'm sorry if I caused any damage there. I was worried about the pedestal, but I think it was supposed to be on there the whole time."
No, it's quite alright. Thankfully, that building that was destroyed was an inn that's currently not operable.
That's great. I'm glad to. And I will go over and pick up the weapon.
Okay. Tolwyn, I want you to go ahead and roll athletics.
Athletics, great, cool.
I'm kind of curious about where this ball and puzzle is in relation to this play, since I wasn't here for that. But if you can explain it to me later, that'd be great.
Yep, that's about right.
You grab onto it, and it buckles your knee to the point where you have to pick it up with both hands. Your legs are basically bent, and you lift until your stomach. It took everything you had, but you are able to pick it up.
Do you need some help there, Tolwyn?
This is very heavy. Do you want to hold it?
I'll try helping Tolwyn with it.
All right. Cerberus, go ahead and roll athletics. With advantage because Tolwyn, you're technically is theoretically helping you. 26. You grab onto it and you're able to lift it a little bit more. You're able to get it towards your side and on yourself. It's not as if it's lighter, but you're able to manage it a little bit better than Tolwyn. You're able to at least move your hands easily enough. It's not as if you're connected to the blade itself or fine-tuned to it, but this thing is heavy. If you didn't have the strength behind you, yeah, it would probably hurt someone just lifting the thing. You're surprised Tolwyn didn't spring anything.
Tolwyn, are you okay? You might want to stretch.
Yeah, I think maybe so. Interesting. You say you think that thing is from the Fae?
Yeah, I think so. It's a type of weapon called a chakram. It's supposed to be a throwable weapon.
I can't imagine throwing that monstrosity.
Kylo, since he is part of the Feywild, does explain that a chakram itself is a throwing weapon similar to a dagger, but circular in nature. It is able to hit things and bounce back, which is similar to how the ball was bouncing, which kind of makes sense, except for the massive weight behind it. He then tells you that magic itself is kind of different in the Feywild, allowing things to be denser than they should be or lighter than they should be. From what you can tell, Tolwyn, the chakram itself feels as heavy as the giant stone puzzle cube. So it's matching the density of that sphere.
Interesting.
Is there another puzzle? Or I guess I'd like a refresher about how all that's connected.
So, and the puzzle was made of multiple materials, right?
Yes. Cobblestone, regular stones, silver, gold, and platinum.
Cobblestone, wobblestone.
Is there calligraphy on this puzzle?
No, they're just the etching marks that, if you did not pay attention to them, would not realize that they are slits to a puzzle system. Cerberus, you really honestly didn't miss much. Tolwyn just accidentally figured this out.
So you just found a random puzzle. Is that the only puzzle on this monument?
Yes, from what they observed. They only looked at the monument, not the area around it. There could be more puzzles, but that is all you currently see. Or at least all that was currently shown. There could be, or there couldn't be, honestly. I'm just letting you know. That being the case, though, you now have one, I suppose you can call it stone chakram. The context of that, you're not entirely sure, though. Like, why is it here? For what reason was it held inside a massive puzzle cube? Those context clues, even Morrow doesn't understand that, which is why he's surprised, much like the rest of you, there was a Fey origin blade in the monument.
Does it seem magical at all, or is it just, like, really heavy?
You're not entirely sure. But the way, it's really heavy does suggest magical origins. Or at least magical enough origins. It could be natural magic or some spell intertwined thing.
I
Just
could have
cast
had
identify on it.
nature changed by
Right.
magic, but not be inherently magical.
Taylor could have cast identify and just solve all these answers.
Yeah, I did. I cast identify.
Okay, Taylor comes over, touches it. His eyes change, flicker around until he's able to hone and figure things out. I forgot Taylor had identify. I'm going to let you guys know.
Oops, sorry, hold on. And I also comprehend the languages.
Yes, you do.
Actually, yeah, I can read what it says, even though even if it's not really. Yeah, whatever.
Yes. Well, it doesn't have a language. Well, it has a magical language, which you do read things to identify. So, the chakram itself is known as a telekinetic chakram. The chakram itself does weigh 1,000 pounds and gives the wielder the telekinetic spell, the same one that allows you to lift 1,000 pounds. Which, you'll probably need to use this thing. It does require attunement, and the blade itself does more damage than a standard chakram. It does 3d6 plus 5 slashing damage, and itself is able to return back to the wielder, unless some other outside force acts upon it.
It's a giant metal boomerang that weighs a ton, but lets you cast a spell that lets you lift a ton. Cool.
Yes.
It weighs half a ton.
Half a ton, yeah.
Once attuned
It
to
felt
it,
like 4. So.
yeah. Once attuned to it, you can cast a telekinetic spell upon it naturally. Like, it does not eat your telekinetic spell casting, but you can cast it once a day until you long rest. Then you can cast it after that. Telekinesis one more time the next following day. So basically, you have a free telekinetic spell, 3d6 plus 5 slashing weapon.
Is it indefinite? Because telekinesis lasts for a short period.
That's right.
Connecting with the blade itself, that is indefinite. Then casting it on something else, that is a recharge effect.
So if we're attuned to it, do we have to have it on us?
Yes. Once you attune to it, you have to have it on you.
Okay, but it's huge, isn't it? And it weighs 1,000 pounds?
No. As soon as you attune to it, you can tell that, like most other magical weapons, it shrinks down to the wielder's size.
But still weighs 1,000 pounds?
It still weighs 1,000 pounds, but once attuned to it, it will attune to the wielder. So it technically still weighs a ton, you just cannot carry it, thanks to the added effect of telekinesis. I'll make it
basically like you can choose to ignore the fact that it's super heavy for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it just does like a really good amount of damage because it does weigh so much.
Yes.
When you throw it.
So I'll basically make it simpler then. Chakram, 3d6 plus 5 slashing damage. Once attuned to it, you can now carry the blade. Blade carries 1 use of telekinesis once a day until recharge at a long rest.
I mean, that'd be cool. I mean, I already have blades, though, so... And I'm definitely not giving up my blades. Which, speaking of that, I have to roll an intelligence save. Shit.
Well, we can always find out who can utilize it another time if no one wishes for it.
Yeah, how, who, and why it's here.
Yeah, Kyathal might want it, because he said we could throw it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
A chakram is also a finesse weapon, so you can use strength or dexterity.
I know he's not here right now. Thank you. Thank you, Captain Obvious, but... It
is Fey in origin, so there might be other things attached to that. Or might not. We don't really know.
I gotta roll a DC 12 intelligence save.
But with this new information and another day out, we will start off with your training next time. Whether you succeed or not will be entirely up to you. You'll more than likely will, but whether or not Tolwyn can pick up a tune once more, we'll figure that one out next time. And Talon, you're fine. As we end the session.